back then, I know H2 was really my first kind of imagery, my first kind of incident. What is interesting about that is that they say that if you're 2 years of age, you wouldn't be able to imagine that. Well, that's quite wrong. But there again, on saying that, up is down and left is right in our society. They want to cover this up. They do not want the truth at any level to be in the public domain. They absolutely hate it. Therefore, they would rule out that, but it happened to me.
Oh, it's moving faster now.
When I think of the pivotal moments, my mum and dad were in poverty, and we lived in squalid housing conditions in that we had this rigmarole going on where we had an outside toilet, we didn't have a bathroom, we had no heating in the house. It was absolutely horrendous. I recall at 10 years of age walking to a scrapyard with a pram. And the pram had, I remember, an old kettle, a car exhaust, as I recall, a battery and this, that and the other. And I remember walking down the street with it. And because I was classed as kind of like, at the time, the scruff of the town, people would pop their horns and go, get a wash, yes, go more. And that was horrendous because I had this dirty look about me, including long nails and all that kind of thing. It was absolutely horrendous. And the bullying at school was equally horrendous. School was like a war zone. It wasn't even pleasant. And some of the teachers back in the 80s, the louder they shouted at you, the less you understood them, and therefore the louder they shouted. And the abuse as well. I had abuse going on of a nature that shouldn't be happening to a child, and that was horrendous. So we've got all this horrendousness, all this negativity, and in my experiences, I went through some shocking ordeals in my childhood, like you wouldn't believe, and I used to cry myself to sleep every night. Back then, I know H2 was really my first kind of imagery, my first kind of incident. What is interesting about that is that they say that if you're 2 years of age, you wouldn't be able to imagine that. Well, that's quite wrong. But there again, on saying that, up is down and left is right in our society. They want to cover this up. They do not want the truth at any level to be in the public domain. They absolutely hate it. Therefore, they would rule out that, but it happened to me. So at 2 years of age, I've got these two visual kind of strong symbols of elephants going through a wall and trumpeting. Very symbolic stuff. Now, as I recall, I'm there now, very vivid, and I'm pointing like this to the attic door. They appear to have gone through the attic door. You're in a different form of consciousness when that's happening. It's incredible, but first I have to go through the gates of hell to get there, and I think you have to know the darkness before you know the light. The great spiritual works are correct that mind opens doorways into dimensions that we do not understand. If you look at the work of the physicist David Bohm, Wholeness and the Implicate Order, he does a fluid dynamics kind of situation. He demonstrates that very easily with glycerine and ink. Ink and glycerine in a tube, you rotate it one way, it vanishes, you re-rotate it, it reappears again. That simplifies it, but basically there is another dimension to us, so it's not just alien, it's a case of angels and demons as well around humanity, and this is what humanity is up against, which gives me reason to suspect that since the 1950s America has been engaged in some sort of secret war, not with aliens per se, but with what they would term non-human entities, or NHE. And I've experienced that, but it's not about that. It's not about, the story is actually not about that. That's just a sideshow compared to what will happen to me in the years ahead. I'm in danger all the time with it. I'm not sure what's going on, but I have a grasp better than most of what is going on. And I'm traumatized with it. I got traumatized, so I've got post-traumatic stress disorder. It's so bad I can be debilitated with it. It can knock me for 6, but today is a bad day, so you wouldn't know. I look smartly dressed, I'm articulating to camera. You just wouldn't know that I've got severe post-traumatic stress disorder because I manage it very well. You know, so you're getting all this backdrop of abuse, poverty. It's as if almost some force was trying to delay any of this getting out of the public, but like water, they will find a way. This will not be stopped. They will keep coming in. until we realise we're not alone. Because I think we're facing nuclear and environmental catastrophe if we don't realise these crucial points. And it's character shaping, I've got to say. Makes you very mentally tough. You have to be mentally tough. You wouldn't stand 5 minutes in this environment, in this theatre of operation, if you were mentally tough.